Try to imagine if the entire world you are seeing is actually just a mirror reflecting your own soul. Amidst the exhaustion and anxieties of daily life, are you feeling as if life is surrounded only by negative shades? The profound truth is that your mind will always find exactly what you feed it every day. If you nourish fear, you will only see danger. But if you choose to nourish stillness, you will see the path of healing opening right before your eyes. Introduction to the Consciousness Journey. The sacred ancient teachings of the Buddha always remind us that the mind is everything. What you think, you become. This is especially true during periods when life seems heavy and shrouded in murky worries. Today I invite you to walk with me through 7 precious lessons, so that together we may silently sow the seeds of peace, growth, and spontaneous joy, helping you find the most serene harbor for your soul amidst this volatile world. Lesson 1. Every thought is a seed. Now I invite you to take a step back with me, to recognize that your mind is actually an incredibly fertile garden, where every thought arising during the day is a seed silently waiting to sprout and spread its leaves into the future. Understand this profound truth. Your thought is the great architect shaping the entire reality you experience every day. If you accidentally sow seeds of irritation when facing work pressure, or seeds of doubt in family relationships, then the garden of your soul will surely harvest only the bitter fruits of fatigue and loneliness. Buddhism teaches us about the sacred Noble Eightfold Path, where one of the vital pillars is right thought, the act of actively choosing to nourish wholesome and mindful thinking patterns. Through meditation and mindfulness, you are learning to become your own wisest gardener. You know how to gently pull out the weeds of anxiety and patiently water the sprouts of peace, so that every moment you are present in this life is a miraculous self-healing. Lesson 2. Guarding the gates of the senses. Observe the house you live in every day. If you leave the main doors and windows wide open, allowing dust and chaotic noise from the street to flood in, that space will soon become suffocating and filled with impurities. Your soul is exactly the same. Every passing day, you are receiving thousands of different information streams through your eyes and ears. In the profound wisdom of the Buddha, guarding the sense gates is the most important step to protect the inner lamp of peace from the toxic winds of the world. If you constantly feed your mind with violent news, heated social media debates, or complaints and resentments from those around you, your body will always remain in a state of perpetual defense and chronic nervous tension. I invite you to make a mindful choice, starting today by actively filtering what you will see and hear. Instead of letting your consciousness be swept away by useless disturbances, prioritize nourishing it with the sounds of silent nature, constructive philosophical teachings, and moments of truly disconnecting from the virtual world to return to your own refuge. When you know how to close the sense gates to negative impacts, you are silently creating an absolutely safe space for healing to occur naturally and fully. At this very moment, as the warmth of mindfulness spreads, silently ask your heart, am I truly nourishing my soul with the material of love? Or am I accidentally letting the world's rubbish muddy the inherent pure nature within me? Chi. Lesson 3. Turn off autopilot. Have you ever felt regret because you accidentally shouted at a loved one in a moment of anger? Or suddenly felt your chest tighten and want to explode just because of an unkind remark from a colleague? The profound truth is that most of us are living in a state that modern psychology calls autopilot mode. This is the greatest barrier separating you from true peace, because all your actions and reactions have long been controlled by old habits, unhealed wounds from the past, and sad imprints accidentally frozen within your own nervous system. When someone criticizes you, the autopilot mind immediately triggers a fierce defensive instinct. It forces you to react instantly, without allowing wisdom, a single moment of pause to speak. And living continuously in this unconscious reflex is the root of all exhaustion, severing the inherent self-healing flow within you. To break these chains, the Buddha taught us the art of pausing to observe arising emotions, like observing a strange guest visiting the house of our soul. Just stand still and watch without rushing to follow its hurried commands. When you learn to turn off the autopilot and begin to be mindfully present amidst arguments or daily instabilities, you are giving yourself the gift of ultimate freedom, where you are no longer a victim of circumstances, but truly become the wise master, silently guiding the boat of your life toward the most serene and radiant harbor. Lesson 4. Reframing every challenge as a teacher. Imagine your soul is like a precious gem still hidden beneath the rough shell of a raw stone. The harsh challenges of life are actually painful, but necessary. Chisel strikes to carve away the excess and help the radiance within you be fully revealed to the light. In Buddhist wisdom, suffering is an inevitable part of human existence that no one can entirely avoid. However, the secret of peace lies not in running away from adversity, but in the ability to dare to view difficulty as a wise teacher, patiently teaching you lessons on steadfastness and perseverance, instead of being stuck in the pit of resentment and constantly asking why this terrible thing happened to you. Try taking a step back and ask in your heart a wise question. What is this event trying to teach me so that I may become deeper and more tolerant? When you dare to change your perspective and face pain with a mindset of complete learning, you will realize that those very broken pieces are the most fertile material for the flower of compassion and equanimity to bloom right inside your own soul. Lesson 5. Gratitude is a safe environment for rebirth. My kindred friend, let me lead you into the warmest space of the soul, where all mending begins with a tender heartbeat, the rule of deep gratitude. Understand this poignant wisdom. The source of all insecurity and fatigue we carry actually lies in craving, the desire that always demands life be different from what it is. When you live in a state of constant lack, your mind continuously sends alarm signals to every blood vessel, making the body brace itself in fierce defense. Gratitude in Buddhism is absolutely not a superficial social thank you. It is truly a power to flip one's perception, helping you shift from the mindset of chasing distant illusions to a state of residing in the completeness of existence. At this moment, as the warmth of compassion spreads, try bringing your awareness back to the smallest and most ordinary things silently supporting your life. It is a free breath, still rhythmically entering your chest without you having to spend a single penny to buy it. It is the weight of your feet being supported by the firm, tolerant earth, or simply a cool glass of water quenching your thirst. When you cherish these seemingly obvious things, you are directly creating an extremely mild biological environment inside your body, helping the heart rate slow down, muscles relax, and all self-repair mechanisms be activated most strongly. Especially in difficult times when adversity surrounds you, gratitude is the sacred shield protecting you from the invasion of the darkness of despair. You don't need to be grateful for the pain, but you can be grateful for the latent strength that the pain is urging you to discover. Actively naming the good things present is how you tell your nervous system that although the storm outside is large, I am still fully protected and sheltered. Right now, I invite you to join me in sowing a seed of peace into the land of your subconscious. Silently name or write down 3 simple things that make you feel grateful today. Even if it is just a stranger's smile or this moment of silence, that sincere confirmation will be a steady anchor, keeping your soul radiant and fulfilled amidst the murky world. For you understand that true peace only sprouts when you stop counting what you have lost and begin to cherish what is present. Lesson 6. The power of visualization and the mirror of the mind. Try to imagine your mind is a great painter, capable of painting any reality you yearn to exist right inside your internal world. In the profound wisdom of Buddhism, the technique of contemplation or mindful visualization is absolutely not a vain daydream. It is truly a sharp mental training method for you to actively nourish the most sacred qualities such as patience and tolerance. Instead of letting the mind automatically weave dark, anxious scenarios about failure, I invite you to learn to use your imagination as a tool to reprogram your entire nervous system and build the most steadfast inner identity. Modern brain science has gradually confirmed the startling truth that when you visualize an action with all detail and vivid emotion, your neural regions react and vibrate just as if you were actually performing that action in objective reality. Therefore, if you frequently spend time visualizing yourself as a calm person, a soul always smiling with tolerance before the world's harsh criticisms, your nervous system will begin to remember the rhythm of that stillness and gradually turn it into your natural reflex in daily life. You do not need to wait until the difficulties pass to feel peaceful. You have the power to create that peace right from within the cinema of your consciousness at this very moment. Right now, I invite you to take a deep breath and see yourself standing firm like a majestic mountain before every storm of adversity. Feel the warm light of compassion spreading radiantly from the center of your chest to every vessel and cell. Patiently repeating these radiant images is how you sow seeds of confidence and inner strength into the deepest layers of your subconscious, helping the ship of your soul stay on the path of serenity without being tilted by any winds of gossip outside. When you master the mirror of the mind and know how to warm it with bright visions, you will realize that true healing does not start from changing circumstances, but from the way you choose to see yourself in the most sacred completeness and freedom. Lesson 7. Self-compassion is the key to wholeness. Try listening to the most private whispers you still say to yourself every quiet night. Isn't that voice sometimes more rigorous and cruel than the most bitter judgments from the world outside? We often unintentionally become the strictest judges toward ourselves. We agonize over old mistakes, blame ourselves for our flaws, and always carry a sense of guilt that we are not good enough or do not deserve to receive good things. In the Buddha's wisdom, true healing absolutely cannot sprout from punishment or self-hatred. Healing can only begin when you are brave enough to give yourself an embrace of unconditional compassion. I want you to understand a deep truth. Self-compassion is not selfish indulgence. It is actually a great type of wisdom that helps you see through your own suffering with the tolerant eyes of a gentle mother soothing a weary child. At this moment, I invite you to perform a sacred practice called nourishing loving kindness. Gently place your hand on your heart and breathe in the energy of understanding. Silently send to every cell of yours the prayer: may I be peaceful, may I be liberated from acute fears, and may I love myself just as I am. When you know how to forgive the broken pieces of the past, you are directly undoing the frozen energy knots inside your vessels and flesh, allowing the self-healing life force to flow smoothly to nourish the most radiant life within your soul. As your heart begins to warm with the energy of self-tolerance, I invite you to step up one more ladder to discover the sacred wisdom of non-self or anatta, the ultimate key to permanently ending the habit of self-judgment. The pain of agony often stems from identifying ourselves with past mistakes or wounds. You believe you are a failure just because you once fell. You believe you are a sinner just because of a mistaken act in the past. But the miraculous truth the Buddha reminds us of is that you are absolutely not those tragic stories. Imagine you are like a vast river, constantly flowing and renewing in every present moment. The mud of mistakes may muddy the water for a while, but it can absolutely never define the entire pure and deep nature of that river. When you understand that this self is actually just a continuous flow of causes and conditions, you will no longer need to strain to protect or punish a fixed identity. This liberation is the most powerful healing medicine. The compassion you give yourself will automatically create a beautiful ripple effect, spreading to all things around you. When you have truly reconciled with yourself, you will naturally look at life and all sentient beings with the eyes of the most genuine understanding and love. Our walking journey through the 7 gardens of wisdom is now gently closing like a sunset, giving way to the vast silence of the infinite night. I hope you carry this profound awareness into your dreams. Your soul is actually a clear mirror reflecting exactly what you choose to nourish every day. Understand the miraculous truth that the right to choose the seeds to plant and care for lies entirely in your hands at this very moment. Do not let the murky worries of tomorrow steal the sacred freedom of the present moment you possess. If these shares have brought you relief and helped your mind shed its burdens, I am honored to invite you to sow a good seed by subscribing to the channel, so that we may continue to accompany each other on this blessed path of awakening. Tonight, before dissolving into deep, dreamless sleep, I invite you to perform a small internal practice by silently telling yourself a loving affirmation. I choose peace. May you have a life of serenity and steadfastness, and may every step you take bloom with the most radiant lotus of mindfulness under the moon of compassion. Peace in body and mind. Goodbye, and see you in the next healing journeys.